Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the Mind Over Matter webinar. My name is Jamie. You guys are in for a special treat today. I'll tell you that right now. I've always been fascinated by the power of the mind and the simplicity of what can be done when we allow ourselves, when we get the hell out of our own way, ultimately. As human beings, we are duly blessed and cursed with, this miraculous ability to choose and miraculous ability to feel. And let me tell you, does that ever screw with our ability to be functional? Because most of the time, people's mindset is so corrupted, especially as we become adults. If you think back when we're children, anything's possible. There's nothing that's unattainable, right? You're born, and as you start to develop, you see the world a certain way, and everything is possible. So explain to me why, once you become an adult, nothing's possible. Everything's too hard. Everything's complicated. Every time something goes wrong, we collapse. It doesn't make any sense to me. When something goes wrong for a child, what do? They plow right through it. If it doesn't work one way, they try another. If it doesn't work that way, they try another. But as a human, as an adult human, rather, if we don't try, or if something goes wrong, we don't try any other options. We just, nope, no good, can't do it. Oh my God, the world is crashing down around us. My life sucks. Everybody hates me. I'm going to eat some worms. Welcome to the lovely, lovely world of adulthood. Is there a solution? You bet your ass there is. And what is the solution? It's actually taking ownership of your mindset. I spend a fair bit of time, planning and thinking about what I'm going to be doing with, this potential, with this webinar, with the other webinars. How am I going to, the other webinars are a little more rigid, of course, because there's a guideline I'm following, but it's not just a turn on the webinar and just wing it, hope for the best. No, I usually have a pretty, what we'll call it, I won't say detailed plan, but just a plan. I forget to turn my, hold on a sec here. Every now and again, I forget to turn off my Skype, and then it beeps in my ear. So, I usually have a plan. It never ceases to amaze me because I, again, find the human mind fascinating and the mindset concept fascinating. This is why I love to do this part of it, and why I love this type of training. Is that inevitably, no matter how hard I plan, and no matter how much detail I put into my plan, the world around me almost always supplies me with something new. So it almost on a day-to-day basis. So it becomes very complicated to figure out, okay, what am I going to talk about this time when I only go once a week, right? And so what is happening is the just on a day-to-day basis, things happen, and I'm forced to sort of shelf my plan because I can't resist talking about the glaring example that's been put in front of me. And personally, I think the example's been put in front of me because it's an important thing that we need to talk about. So what am I referring to today? Well, anybody here who's part of the global online franchise and the understands that there's been, a few little issues. Hold on one sec. Hold on here. Sorry. Hey, Derek, I got sound right? Because I think so, because you are referring to some of the things I've been saying. So, so I'm going to assume yes, you do. Okay, so sorry, I'm just going to leave it at that, and then I'm going to go back to my so as you know, there's been a little bit of a we'll call it a glitch. We'll call it there's a little bit of an issue anyway with the reporting that's coming through the MAD account dashboard, whatever you want to call it. And the so what we have going on here is, and having worked in the IT industry, and sometimes I think that mindset is often, if for those people who aren't reading daily audios, getting around people that are helping grow their mindset, et cetera, et cetera. I think that what usually happens and why people's mindset is so, I'm going to call it off, is because it's life experience, right? So, because I know that in my life, anytime I've had an experience that's been able to give me a perspective that maybe someone else doesn't have, it does definitely give me the upper hand when it comes to managing my mindset. Because one of the most powerful things that you can develop in your mindset, did I say powerful, is perspective. It's quite simply perspective. And what I mean by that is having the ability to get on the other side of the equation mentally and seeing the perspective over there. It's really easy to see what perspective we have on our side, because how it's affecting me. How is it affecting me? Well, I this and I that, me. How does it affect me? Well, there's billions of people in the world, so that puts you in a very, very small percentile of of what the impact is really having. Does that make sense? Yes, it does have an impact on you, but it also has an impact on that guy, that lady, that kid. That it has an impact well beyond your 5-foot square on the planet Earth. So the second you can cut off that me mindset and slide over to the other side of the equation and say, okay, well, how does it impact? Most importantly, how does it impact the source of the problem? Right? I'm not saying that there aren't some bad people in the world and there aren't some bad things happening. I'm just talking about, day-to-day things that, are clearly not the worst thing that's ever happened, but just your reaction to it has become this mushroom cloud of whatever, of not good mindset, however you want to say that. But, and once you can get to the other side of the equation, and so I refer back to this glitch that they're having. I mean, I worked in the IT industry, the internet technology industry, or information technology industry, sorry, for almost 10 years. I have a degree, network securities and technologies, computer networking and internet securities. That's what it was, sorry. Been a while since I've been in the industry. So I have a working knowledge of what it's like to be behind the scenes. And trust me, the computer geeks of the world are very much behind the scenes. It's one of the things that I despised about the industry. I thought when I first got into it, I thought I was making a move towards more exposure, more chances to work with people. It was completely the opposite. They just stick you in a dark dungeon somewhere, in a hole in a corner somewhere where nobody can get at you, and it's the only time anybody ever calls you is because they have a problem. It can do a number on your mindset, let me tell you. So, but anyway, when you're working in that industry, you come to understand that sometimes problems that arise with computers and servers, and even with the best intentions, we spend months planning a launch of a new server, or launch of a new email server, or launch of a new switch, or there was this one specific experience where we were swapping out all of the switches in our entire network to these high-end super switches that we could, you could go into the switch and you could hand massage all the different where all the traffic was going, so that you keep your network running really, really smooth. It minimized the amount of collisions, the amount of downtime, all this other great stuff. So we spent time, months, planning, putting them all on our desks and hooking them all up, and then having a computer there that we could use as testing, and da-da-da-da. We had it all lined up. We had it all figured out. So we get to the time where we tell our boss, okay, guess what? Okay, guys, okay, boss, here's the launch date. We're gonna come in at 1 o'clock in the morning. Everything's gonna be down for about 30 minutes while we turn everything off. Quickly take all the old switches out, put all the new switches in, and then hook it all back up. Well, guess what? When we turned it all back on, nothing worked. Nothing. So when something was supposed to be down for a half an hour, ended up being down for 4 hours. So that's 10 times the amount of expectation. It happens. Now granted, this situation we're having here with Global Online Franchise is slightly different because it's a little bit longer. But yes, but nobody knew about it. It's not like we started calling everybody in the building, at 3 o'clock in the morning, going, okay, things aren't working. No, we had to bust our butt and get it back up. And for the most part, probably 90 or 95% of the people had no idea there was a problem. But it's a perspective. So when we're in this situation here, that I know that they're working on it, something happened. They were upgrading some servers, and things aren't talking properly anymore until they figure out where that problem is. I mean, in our case, we at least had a working switch bank that we could put back in and get back up, right? But the reason why it took 4 hours is because things didn't work right when we put it all back together, because there was a lot of wires involved. So we were in a panic, so things didn't quite go right. So there's problems happen, and you don't always readily see where the issue is, especially in computers, because the answer is buried in some back corner of the server somewhere. So it's not like flicking a switch to fix this, to make a fix here. So anyway, so our partners at our partners through our pressure, because we did give them some pressure, posted an announcement. Now, I read the announcement, and when I read it, I immediately felt confidence. And so I was, happy. From when I read it, I thought, okay, good. Things are, this is good. That's good. That's good. Okay, good. Awesome. All right, moving on. Am I frustrated by the fact that it's not working and I can't request my sales? Of course I am. I use PPC as my primary advertising market. That means it costs me money every day, and no sales are coming in. Oh, sorry, let me rephrase that. I am not able to request payment on the sales that are coming in. That's the sales are still coming in, and they're still being tracked, right? So, and so what we're faced with this announcement, and what happened was, of course, the Facebook group kind of blew up a little bit last night, and there was some concerns over the message. People had concerns about they had just launched GOF to their team. They had just launched this, so they were feeling really anxious about it all. And I had a conversation with one person, and much to my surprise, because I didn't get it, but I listened to them, and what I realized and why I was forced to sort of pitch my other plans and start talking about this today was they read the same announcement I did, but what they read and their interpretation of it, I guess, was drastically different than mine. Like polar opposite, 180-degree swing. And I'm not saying they're wrong. No, not even in close. I'm not suggesting that in any way, because that's not fair. I mean, how you feel and how you think about something is not wrong, ever. However, when faced with a conversation, so I was having a conversation with this person, and every time I made a point about what I read, I was quickly smashed with a no, 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 no. That's not what it says. Oh, that's not what. Okay. That's not what it says. All right. So what I was challenged, and so when I finished this conversation, this was late at night, of course, because I stumbled across this blow up in our group accidentally, really. It was later at night here already. But anyway, so when I got off this conversation, I had to start to think about it. And see, I think that's the difference, or not the difference, but I think that's the key to engaging a powerful mindset, catapults you forward at all times. It's the ability to pause and become consciously aware of what you just went through from a almost mechanical process, devoid of the emotion. Now, I will tell you that in the in the past, before I had any kind of command over my mindset, when I was being told that that is not what was being read, I would have fought back saying, "What, are you crazy? Are you stupid? What, can't you see it?" I would have went that route, because I would have been very convinced that the person I was talking to was absolutely insane. That is, of course, if I hadn't already read it in a negative way. If I'd, I think that my mindset actually put me in a position where when I read that announcement, I was like, "Oh, everything's good. All right. Sucks that it's going to take a little while, but it's all good." But I wouldn't have read it that way, right? So anyway, the concept is quite simple. Perspective is really the critical component to this whole equation, right? And not all bad things that happen are catastrophic or world-ending, right? And I think the scorch the earth philosophy is a dangerous, dangerous road to ever go down, no matter what we're talking about. Let's take this whole little glitch we're having here aside, and let's just talk about life in general. The scorch the earth philosophy, which I was a very big fan of and a big proponent of when I was younger. I'm not afraid to admit it. I mean, I had a hot temper, short fuse, no concern about how my words impacted others. So I understand where that comes from. I get it. That's how I grew up. That's how I learned how to be a person. So I do also know that when you become consciously aware of the words that come out of your mouth, the words that you type, things that you say, that they have an impact. And again, perspective, like we talked about earlier. So I type some words, I write some stuff, or I say some things to a person face to face, and I just think everything's cool. I mean, this happens. It still happens to me to this day. I'm not perfect. Let's be real here. So I'm having a conversation with somebody. Like I own a pizza restaurant in addition to some of the stuff that I do here. Um, it was perhaps a short-sighted venture that I got myself involved with a couple years back that I would gladly get out of at this point, but that's neither here nor there. But so I have employees, of course, that I have to talk to. So I'm talking to them, and every now and again I'll have a conversation with them, and I'll find out later that they weren't all that happy with that conversation. So I have to replay the conversation in my head and figure out, okay, what did I say that sent them down that road? It's not what's wrong with them. Why did they take it that way? No. How they felt about what I said is real. And I have to address the words and the conversation that I provided. I have to think about the words that I provided and figure how did they impact him and why. Well, not the why. The why is kind of on his shoulders, but I have to figure, okay, could I have delivered that information differently? That's the key. That's the perspective side of things. So many times when it still happens. Again, I said I'm not perfect, and I don't anticipate anybody thinking that I am. So the concept of influence and impact is so critical. It's so critical, and the mindset that I refer to in this scenario, in this arena here, is quite simply, it's not just about your mindset, but it's about the mindset of the others who you are influencing. And make no mistake about it, the second you open your mouth in your life to anyone, you have influence. You can talk to your friends and say, I just tried this new restaurant the other day. You should check it out. They go check out the restaurant. That's influence. I find that many people minimize this. They say, oh, my opinion doesn't matter. Oh, yeah, it does. To a lot of people. If you have children, immediately. You have especially if you have children, your impact on the world, especially their small, like the inner, your immediate world, is huge. You have two little people, I say two, because I have two kids, but you might have 4, 10, I don't know. You might have one. You have however many people. You have influence over these little people who have no idea how the world works and are going to learn from you. So the influence starts there. Then it expands beyond that. And what's important to understand is that sometimes those who have the most delicate mindset are the ones that are the most quiet. They don't say a lot. They do a lot of listening. They don't get involved. Not because they can't or don't have the skills or whatever it is that brought them to this point in their life has created this, I'm going to sit in the background, man, I'm not that important. I don't really know. I don't want to make a mistake. I don't want anybody to know that I don't know the answer. Whatever that is. They brought that to the table. Fine. That's their mindset at this point. The danger is that, and this could be people in your social circles for all that matters. Like, let's remember that when I have these mindset webinars, it's not always just about GOF and things that have happened there. The examples of what I'm talking about are unilaterally important to your entire life. That's the key to mindset, and the reason why I think it's so important and why I'm so passionate about it. And I wish people really, really understood how critical mindset is to their everyday life. I'm going to make a note here because I want to go down one more road here. because it just popped into my head. Because this was one of the topics I was going to talk about on Monday when I was thinking about it. But then, 17 other things bombarded me between now and then. And of course, last night at midnight, my time was the last topic that sort of came to me. So I had, that's the one I ended up going with. But anyway, I'm going to touch on that one. I wanted to make a note so I don't forget, because squirrel. No, anyway. Sometimes I think I have ADD, but no, I don't think I do. So anyway, your influence and your impact on the people around you, and then you have to understand that your words, whether written or said, are having an impact on the people reading it and the people listening. The key to this whole equation, again, is perspective and understanding that the reader of your written word has 100% control over how they interpret the words. When you're talking face to face, you have a little bit more. You don't give up 100% control, because you can physically watch their cues, their physical cues, their perhaps verbal cues, facial cues. You can notice that maybe they're not quite following you down this garden path, and you're like, oh, wait a minute, I'm losing them here. It looks like I might have upset them. What? Okay, let's back up. So you can sort of you can back up the bus and say, okay, what happened here? What happened, right? But that's because you're face to face, you're talking, or you're on the phone or whatever. You can hear their voice, right? So you have some sort of feedback. In written word, there's no feedback. You give up 100% control of the impact. This is why so many people in so many different facets of life have had friendships destroyed, marriages destroyed, all kinds of things, because they use texting or emailing or some sort of written way of communicating as their primary source of communication. The emotion that is added, because you can hear it in my voice when I'm talking right now, like, my voice goes up, it goes down, it goes to the left, it goes right, it gets louder, it's quieter, there's inflection, there's all kinds of things, right? So you can get that from me. So even if you might think the words that I'm saying, like if you were to just read the words I'm saying, you might think they're harsh. But when you hear them coming out of my mouth and with the inflections that I want to use, they don't seem harsh because they're not intended to be harsh, but you can hear that. Written word, the emotion that is applied to the thought line, the thought process, is applied by the reader, not the sender or not the writer. The writer, who could be laughing and having a good time with what they're saying and just, not upset or even slightly emotional about it, just say, yeah, da, 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 da. The person on the other end may have just finished having a huge fight with their boss or a coworker or whatever, and they're just not. They're all wound up and turned inside out. And then they sit down and they start reading your text, and it's like, what's wrong with this asshole? Pardon my language, but right away they've applied the negative environment that they just came out of and applied that feeling and emotion right to the text you sent, and then think you're being an ass. Because the emotion is applied by the reader, it can't be applied by the writer. You have to understand that you give up 100% control. 100% control of your intention. Sorry, you have to get your 100% of your intention is completely gone when it comes to your written word. So that is a very, 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 very important part of the mindset that I wanted to get across today. That written word is powerful. And you quite literally can, especially when it comes to things like our Facebook group. I mean, I've been a part of, this is probably, I don't know, the 12th Facebook group I've been a part of. And every single one of them has the same thing happen every time. Somebody comes into there, and this happened to me the other day. I was talking to another member of the group who had posted a comment that I took down, and then I immediately sent them a message to let them know I took it down, and here was why. And because I know the person, and I wanted to make sure that they understood that this wasn't an attack on them, and it wasn't because I didn't think that they should be able to talk. It was to try and figure, okay, you can go ahead and say what you want to say, but let's see if we can sort of clean it up a little. Why clean it up? It's not censorship. It's what is the impact? Right? And so when we talked back and forth, that person had said they totally got it. They said, yeah, I wasn't trying to be negative. I wasn't even trying to say anything bad. I said, but let me read it to you out loud. I talked to them on the phone. So let me read it to you out loud. And I'll read it to you of a negative person or somebody who's looking for an excuse. That's the other thing. There's people out there looking for a reason why this won't work. Don't give it to them. It's almost like you steal their opportunity for success by giving them that out. So anyway, I read it to him, and he's like, "Oh, I did not mean it like that." I'm like, "Somebody could read it like that, though, right?" He's like, "Yeah, I never thought of that." Aha, that's my point. Is that when we write these things out and we type it all out, and we're like, "Oh, we're all in a happy place, and we're just like, "Oh, I just want to get some." Like, and he said, "All I was hoping was to get some help on how I can fix this problem." I'm like, "Great." So then ask for some help. Don't give me some big long diatribe about how you've done this, this, and this, and this doesn't work, and that doesn't work, and it basically sounds like you're saying nothing works. Yeah, no, that's not what I was trying to say. That's what it reads, though, or that's how it reads, though. And it was a great conversation because we came out of it thinking, realizing that what I want to. So I spent some time helping them instead of just managing this, managing the fallout. And when I say managing the fallout, it could be one or two people that actually, like the negative post and and whatever. But the worry that I have are the quiet ones, the ones that never say a damn thing and just go away and never come back. They go away, never come back. They don't see the solution. They don't see the flip side, sort of when things get back to normal or whatever in the one case that we were talking about earlier, and in this other case where help is provided, and all of the things that the person was struggling with, suddenly they're excelling at. But they don't see that solution because they don't come back. So my biggest concern is for the people that never ever say anything. So so anyway, the biggest thing that I want to get across to everybody's perspective, and just understand how much influence you can have over the wallflowers, if you will, that want to make it work so bad, but they're just too scared to try anything. So they're going to try a little bit or try anything publicly. So they're going to try everything in little quiet stages. And just the wrong post at the wrong time will steal the opportunity for them before they had a chance to get any success. And that's a big thing. And I talked about this note that I made, and mindset is everywhere. It's happening to you day to day to day, every day. And one of the things that I try to challenge myself to do is ask myself a question every morning. How can I be better today? Now, that sentence is a very powerful sentence. Very powerful sentence. You should write down those, what are there, 5 words there? How can I be better? And then put a blank behind it. Because this question you can ask yourself in any given moment of any given day. And I promise you, I will be willing to guarantee you it will change your life. And the reason why it will change your life is because You are asking yourself a question that the only possible answer will propel you into a positive direction. So here you are sitting at your computer and you're about to place some ads, and you've been frustrated and things haven't been working out and you haven't been getting the conversions or the sales you've been looking for. How can I be better at placing ads on Backpage? The answer isn't going to be, turn off the computer and go watch TV, because the question was, how can I be better? Well, it certainly won't get better if you don't do it, right? The answer has to be something that puts you forward, that pushes you forward. The same question can be asked, how can I be a better mother? How can I be a better father? How can I be a better friend? How can I be a better husband? How can I be a better wife? How can I be a better employee? How can I be a better boss? Do you see how this applies across the board? Mind Over Matter is not just a global online franchise webinar to convince you that you need to be continuing to do this. I think you should, because there's plenty of money involved. And if you need to make some money, then here's a good opportunity. But I also know that if you don't have the proper mindset if you only spend 2 hours a day working on this, the other 22, less 8 for sleeping, the other, I gotta do some math. What did I say? 22. So the other 18, or did I say 8? I can't remember. Anyway, doesn't matter. There's you got 15 hours of the day that you can't, that your mindset is running rampant. And people are constantly filling your head with crap, and you need to figure out how to protect it. How can I be better? You just ask yourself that question in any given moment. You find yourself in a challenging spot. If you feel that anxiety and pressure of a challenge coming on, just pause for a moment, take a step back and say, how can I be a better student? How can I be a better marketer? How can I be a better mentor? How can I be a better marketer? How can I be a better teacher, coach, trainer, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera? How can I be a better brother? How can I be a better sister? How can I be a better cousin? Like the list goes on and on. I can sit here endlessly and talk for hours about how can I be a better, and then throw something on the end of it. How can I be a better cook? Like, let's take it to the simple. How can I be a better gardener? It doesn't matter. If you ask yourself that question, even if you're good at something, let's say you're already really good at, let's take professional athletes, top of their game, Michael Jordan, perfect example, because you can read anything you want about Michael Jordan, you'll find out that's the kind of question he asked himself. He asked himself, because there's actually many quotes from Michael Jordan about how he asked himself, how can I be a better teammate? Michael Jordan, the guy, one of the best basketball players ever play the game. And he asks himself, how can he be a better teammate? How can I be a better free throw shooter? Really? Do you need to be a better one? He challenges himself so that there's no complacency. You don't get into that rut where sometimes, even when you're good at something and things are good, a good rut is still a rut, meaning you can't get out of it because the sides are too big. And the longer you stay in the rut, the bigger the walls get. I'm going to read you a quote here real quick. I'm going off on crazy tangent here. I'm off in left field now, guys. So hope you guys were, how far? 40 minutes. Wow, we're going to have to shut this down pretty quick. All right. I find so many people struggling, often working harder, simply because they cling to old ideas. That's a rut. They want things to be the way they were. They resist change. Old ideas are their biggest liability. It's a liability simply because they fail to realize that while that idea or way of doing something was an asset yesterday, yesterday is gone. How can I be a better blank? Ask yourself that 50 times a day, or as many times as you need. And I'll say it again, I guarantee it will change your life. If you're in a constant state of challenging yourself to be a better blank, how could you not continue to climb the ladder of whatever it is you're trying to accomplish? How can I be a better example? How can I be better at being healthy? How can I be better at getting exercise every day? How can I be better at reading? And I don't mean, not having the ability to read. I mean, reading consistently. I struggle with that one. I love the books that I have. I've got tons of them. I often find myself getting to the end of a day and I haven't read anything. Generally, that upsets me. Not like, oh my God, my whole day is horrible. No, more of a, damn, how did I miss my reading opportunity today? And then I have to sort of replay in my head, oh yeah, I started doing that. Oh yeah, then I did that. Oh yeah, okay, so I just lost track of time. I got to be more diligent about putting it in there. How can I be better at reading? I just answered the question just now while I was talking to you. Well, I'm going to have to schedule some time. That's how I can be better. But see, when you ask that question, you can't get a negative answer. You can't get a negative answer when you ask yourself that question. Does that make sense? So the big takeaways I want for you today, and you can take away whatever you like from this mind over matter, but for me, the big takeaways are: understand the power of your words. They have influence over other people, regardless if you think they do or not. 95% of the time, what you think about the information that you delivered is completely irrelevant, especially in written word. It's almost 100% irrelevant. So understand the influence of your words. Look at trying to find perspective from the other side of the fence. Because sometimes when people do things that upset you or bother you or confuse you or hurt you, one of the easiest ways to sort of get through it, get over it, get around it, whatever analogy you want to use for the roadblock, is to see it from their side of the fence and say to yourself, it makes sense why they did that. I don't know if I agree with what they did, but I get why they did it. So, all right. That's a perspective concept. You've just taken the perspective of the other side of the fence, understood where they're coming from. You don't have to agree with what they've done. That's not a requirement here. If everyone always agreed about everything, then the world would be a very, very boring place to be. It's that simple. Yeah. The difference of opinion is what makes us gloriously human. But I'm not taking the time to understand somebody else's opinion or how they see it or how decisions have been made or come to is at best short-sighted and at worst destructive. The third thing I want you to take away from this whole thing is using the phrase, how can I be better at, how can I be better, how can I be a better, or how can I be better at? But asking the question, how can I, and then the word better in there somewhere, and then apply it to every moment of your life, even in a heated moment. I remember when my kids were small, and you get to that, and I didn't have these skills back then, by the way, where they have you going completely crazy, and you just all you want to do is scream at the top of your lungs, And it would have been really, really nice to have that moment where they're screaming, running around, blah, 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 and you could stop in the middle of the insanity, quiet your mind just a wee bit, and say to yourself, "How can I be a better father in this moment?" Boom, an answer is going to come that is only going to make the situation better. Anthony Robbins said, "Life is all about challenges." And he says the key to life is learning how to ask a better question. Because we ask ourselves questions all day long. And he said the key to a successful, happy life is learning how to ask ourselves a better question. And asking yourself a question like, how can I be better at, is a better question than, how am I going to get these kids to shut up? How can I be a better father in this moment? How can I get these kids to shut up? Can you see the difference? Both are going to result in some sort of attempted solution. One could have negative consequences and the others could have positive consequences. If you train yourself to ask a better question, as Anthony Robbins had said, the key, that will be the key to success and happiness. Right? Okay, so that's it for today. Anybody have any, specific questions about their mindset or a mindset or mindset concepts or something like that? All right. Those are the takeaways I want you to take away. Those are the takeaways I want you to take away. What? Sounded a little redundant, didn't it? Didn't it? It's a good day. It's going to be a good day today, guys. I can feel it in my bones. Well, it's a little rainy out there. Most people, when they see that, they let the clouds and the rain dictate how they're going to feel. Does that make any sense to anybody? It doesn't to me. So today's going to be an awesome day because I've decided it will be. That's all there is to it. I'm going to have to go reheat my coffee because I spent 40 minutes talking to you guys and not really drinking it. And it's not very hot anymore. So take away what you will. Hope you took some notes. Have yourself an awesome day. And I will talk to you soon. Bye now.